Recording is the process in which we capture musical performances permanently. These days, this is mostly done by computers. Back in the day,
I started producing stuff maybe in the mid-90s, and I first started analog. I was working a lot in a studio in Venice, California, and that was a 2-inch 24-track studio.
This is Aram. He mixed my most recent release, Bright Shadows.
Rejoice, for there is hope.
Mixing, or making recordings sound great, is what we're talking about today. Aram runs his studio Kingsley Garden Music out of Vancouver, Washington. He has mixed and produced several of my future releases in the past for future release. He's been a good friend to me for the past 3 years, and he's a great artist in his own right.
If you fall to pieces, I'll give you a metric crown. Losing day, and the vibe is heavy, and no one knows you ain't smiling.
In a recording situation, there are several basic jobs. You have your artists and musicians, the recording engineer, this is the microphone and technical person. You have the producer, you have the mixing engineer, and you have the mastering engineer. So we are talking about the job of the mixing engineer or mixer today, and a little bit about producing. The producer is the person that collaborates with the artists on the arrangement of the songs. So specifically the structure and the instrumentation. You can think of them as a combination of a great source of creative ideas and perhaps an umpire or referee. A mixing engineer, on the other hand, is the person who decides what levels the instruments or voices have, where they are placed, and what tonalities they have. So the producer has more influence over what goes into the recording, and the mixing engineer has more influence over what is heard from the recording. There are many technical videos here on YouTube. I wanted to talk more about a philosophy of mixing. Mixing ends up being a process of choices. For Bright Shadows, I sent Aram 30 plus tracks of instruments and voices, and he then combined them to be a cohesive sounding product.
I think it's smart to give your mixer everything and to start with more, but it's mostly about process of elimination and really treating it like a puzzle that is going to keep the listener involved by adding and subtracting different parts. The start of Shadows, right immediately, it hits you with sort of a medium kind of a lilting, I'm on a boat on the water kind of a feel with that mellotron. And it's not too long after that it breaks down. The rhythm is taken out from under your feet. After that, you're anticipating, oh, something's going to happen here. So that kind of stuff is really important. And we have really nice ear candy. We have some really nice slide parts. I remember the, what do they call it, the mantra?
A good mixing engineer is able to elevate a track. It has happened a couple times now that I sent Aram tracks of a song that I knew was done, but wasn't sure about what the final product should sound like. He took what I sent him and turned it into the best possible version of my song. I asked Aram to talk a little bit more about his approach to mixing, or perhaps his method of finding a mix.
Try to get into the head of who might be listening to it and saying, you know, how emotionally it's going to hit them. How is it taking me on a journey? Changes in dynamics is for me personally is very important. Mimicking the world around us, which is very dynamic, is the way we hear it. The vocal is everything. The majority of your audience cares about the most. So I spend probably half my mixing time working on, spend a lot of time on vocals. As soon as we think we might be losing a listener, do something to re-engage them, especially in this day and age when the attention span.
Hey. Any last thoughts?
It's kind of a treat to be handed a bunch of tracks of what somebody else has done and to make sense of it with really fresh ears.
Aram, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
I linked Aram's website in the description below. You can contact him for availability and rates. You won't regret it.
I love talking about this stuff with you.
If you have any questions about anything that we talked about today, please post them in the comments below, and one of us will get back to you. I'll see you soon. If you can, please click on the Bandcamp link in the description to support me. You can buy the track there for $1 or $50. Everything helps. And please remember to subscribe.